I find it's much more productive to forget about the mat, forget about the ceiling, forget about the floor. Focus on your orientation to your partner. In today's video, I want to talk about an advanced Brazilian Jiu Jitsu concept that will take your game from here to here and will allow you to learn moves faster than your average Brazilian Jiu Jitsu practitioner. This is an idea that came into play around late blue belt, early purple belt, and it's the concept of orienting yourself to your opponent rather than orienting yourself in relation to the ground. What I mean by this is instead of thinking about positions as top and bottom, think about where you are in relation to your partner with good structure and base. In the chaos of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, when you're fighting for position, when you're throwing each other around, when you're spinning, when you're going up, down, left, and right, it can be very disorienting. And oftentimes you'll feel like you're in the middle of a scramble, and then you wait until someone finds a familiar position, and then you sort of rest into place. And oftentimes it is in those transitions between positions where battles are won and lost. It's just you don't even realize that there's a battle happening. A good example of this principle is the interplay between mount and guard. The only thing different between those two positions are where you are oriented in 3D space in relation to your partner. So if you had a closed guard, or let's just say an open guard because it would be easy, you'd have your legs on either side of your opponent and some control over them. If you were able to sweep them and get on top to mount, the only thing that would be different is you're flipped like this. So instead of thinking about guard and mount as one position, think of it as you are past their legs attacking with your legs and upper body. So if you are in closed guard and you want to set up moves like arm bars, cross chokes, triangles, those are the exact same moves you can set up for mount. When you think about the position of you and your partner as one, this is leg attacking position instead of mount versus guard, you're going to start setting up your attacks, and if they start in guard and transition to mount, it'll be fine. Or if you set up a triangle and mount and it transitions to guard, you'll be fine as well. Because you're not stuck on the position is the position, because whoever is on top and whoever is on bottom is on bottom. The position is the position because of how you are oriented to your opponent. Another easy example of this principle is back control. One of my favorite takedowns to do is an arm drag or a duck under to the back and then mat return from there. The reason why is because it's super low energy, it's super high percentage, and on top of that you're able to get to one of the best positions in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for super cheap as far as energy wise. You just run around to the back and you've got it. Then when it comes time to keeping control of the back, what's important is not who's on top and who's on bottom, it's where your chest is in relation to their shoulder blades. If your chest starts slipping off their shoulder blades or you start going off, you're going to get out of position, you're going to lose it. You might end up in a guard position, but if you're grabbed onto them like a backpack and you're absolutely glued with no space, and they start doing front rolls and back rolls and side rolls and Granbys and they go up, down, left, right, A, B, A, B, if you are not worried about where you are in relation to 3D space and instead where you are in relation to your partner, all this chaos and confusing and mumbo jumbo can be sort of calmed and focused into one specific goal, which is keep yourself glued to their back and maintain this position relative to your partner. Then when you finally do settle, because they're not going to be able to go crazy forever, when you finally do settle, that's when you start setting up your attacking positions. The other thing this allows you to do is in intermediary positions, maybe you're escaping from a bad spot. There's going to be times where you could continue to get up and push through, or you could back out and stand up, or you could sort of just do something instead of accepting your fate. Like most times when you're learning how to pass guard for the first time or play guard for the first time, someone has closed guard, you learn how to break it, you open the legs, and then you pass, and the person getting past sort of tries to maintain guard and then gives up, and then what do? They relax into side control, and they're like, okay, now we're playing side control, we're going to start setting up our frames. And instead of doing that, what you should do is, as someone's trying to pass your guard, you're continually trying to get back into that position of your legs being attacking. Instead of thinking about, okay, they're about to pass from guard to side control, continue to put up frames, continue to put up submission attempts, continue to move your body and change. oftentimes switching from one side of the person to the other side of the person can make the difference between if they're going to submit you or if you're going to submit them. Sometimes people are very bad at their left side or their right side, depending on which one they practice more. And if you're able to pass on the side they're weak on, well, that's another strategy that you can do. Instead of orienting yourself in, okay, this is the position I have to do and I have to do it like this and that, orient yourself in relation to your partner. So your partner's here, you're here. You guys are going to go all over the mat, but you're not thinking about everything else around you. You're just thinking about where you are on your partner. For guard passing, one of the ways this idea comes into play is especially in the gi. I grab onto my opponent's gi in some way, shape, or form. I latch myself onto them, and then I start to walk on my partner. Now, sometimes I'll walk on my partner if they're laying down and I'm standing on top and you like pin a leg on the mat. Now, this could be a little risky, right? If they violently move or shift real quick, you're going to have to be able to change positions. But as long as I'm orienting myself to my partner, it doesn't matter because they're going to change positions and I'm going to go around to the back or side control or another good position. But let's say I'm not on top passing. This is sort of a Ortolo Brothers style thing where they start stepping on legs. What you could also do is without the gi, it's a little bit harder, but if you had a really strong grip or a collar tie, you could still do this. But with the gi, you just have some sort of a grip, and if you fall to either side, you can start walking and pushing your opponent's frames past with your legs, and then pull yourself into mount or leg attacking position. Because if you're slightly sideways, it's going to be the same position. Now, that's not to say who's on top and who's on bottom is completely irrelevant. Because obviously being able to have gravity on your favor is an advantage in some circumstances, or being able to use your opponent's gravity against them is also going to matter. But when you're rolling, when you're sparring, I find it's much more productive to forget about the mat, forget about the ceiling, forget about the floor. Focus on your orientation to your partner. You don't want to get your head dunked on the mat, so you're going to have to pay attention to that. But usually if you're able to 100% eliminate space and cinch right up to a good position and slowly advance and not stop when you would normally stop, you're not going to take breaks in between passing guard and just let them get to side control. You're going to continue to use your legs and offense to mess them up. You're going to have much better success, and I feel like you're going to learn a lot faster. If you made it to the end of the video, don't forget, drink your kombucha. If you like this idea or this is something you practice, go ahead and tell me about it in the comments. When you're rolling, do you think about who's on top and who's on bottom? Is it super important to you? Do you orient yourself in relation to your partner or something else? Thanks for your time. Let me know. Peace.